Greetings, Black Light. Now, the United States is an abstract concept of business because it's not natural. The word artificial means made by humans, a work not natural, simulated. See? Well, the same can be said of the Caucasian in general, since he's a simulation of the black man, the real man. All his works are going to be artificial, and he's going to be against nature. That's what Israel really means. When it says against God, it says against nature. Well, as we saw in the earlier video, the last video on Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, he was saying there were two people inside the man. Now the Caucasian said this because he know this. Most likely he got that knowledge from the Library of Alexandria. So he took all knowledge out of our head when he brought us over here to be slaves, and we were prisoners of war but then made slaves. He took all that knowledge out of our head, and because he had this knowledge, so he kept it from us. He told a lie that the Library of Alexandria burnt down. I don't believe it. But if it did, all was not lost, because it's miles of books in the basement of the Vatican. And he using our knowledge against us. So he knows he's an artificial man. So he said the only way we could rule them is through trickery with words and concepts. So, like the word possess. From that word, you get the word occupy. To possess, to have as belonging to one. To have as an attribute to qualify, to gain control over. Yeah, you can control something. If you can control it, you can possess it. To occupy, to take possession of by settlement or seizure. Now, we're going to Africa, to the Zulu wars. And we're going to show you how he's through war, because he is a great scientist of war. He depends on guns and technology. So, but he has strategy to go with that technology. And he know his enemy. He know how the black man fights. He knows what's in the black man's mind, because he read it in the transcripts in the books that he now holds in the Library of Congress and over there in the Vatican, over there in Italy. So let's check this out. Now look at this scene very carefully, because I'm going to show you a similar scene here in America with the Indians. Now they're getting ready to do some battle. They're fighting over this territory in Africa. They want to take South Africa. They want to take it from these people, and eventually they did. The brothers just got spears. They got guns with a wall, an obstacle. And this is here in early America. All they got is spears and well, they got some guns, but not a lot. So now you see where they at now. This is an update of what they occupy. Let's examine this. All where you see those red dots is U.S. territory or U.S. occupation. They control, that means they control, those are army bases, large ass army facilities. So that means they control all of this. It was over in Africa. Africa is very large. It's larger than what they got depicted on this map here. But all out here, man, Australia, Europe, what they call the Middle East, which was really Africa. All this is Africa. In realness. All this is Africa. Really from here like that. And but they, since they put that Suez Canal there, so they occupy that. So they say they control it, and so they say they own it. But really, the people, the natives of those spots are really occupying it, but they don't control it. And the reason why they don't control it, because it's a mind game. It's a mind game. And we're going to get into the money concept and how they use words really to fool you with. They fool you with words. All this is important as far as jurisdiction is concerned. When you talk about money, I'm going to show you where the illusion comes in at. Money means mint. Stamp pieces of metal or any paper, notes, authorized by the government. Okay, now what does notes or a medium of exchange, pardon me. Now what does note mean? A written acknowledgement of a debt. That's what note means, a written acknowledgement of a debt. What do currency mean? Circulation. That's all. So you circulating the debt, that note, which they call money, but it's a debt. You circulating the debt. That means that you're in debt. That means you owe somebody. So you constantly circulating an IOU. I owe you this, I owe you that. I don't care if you put in 8 hours. They pay you off with this IOU. You know, I owe you. What? What do they owe you? I owe you the gold that they stole. And it's holding in, but they ain't giving that up. They say, well, look, y'all just work for this paper here. So justice is not being just. What does jurisdiction mean? The administration of justice. What does authority mean? Authority. Well, we get into that one. Justice. All justice means being righteous. Jury, a group of people sworn to hear the evidence. So we're going to show you in the next video how the only authority they got is those guns and weapons of mass destruction. That's it. And we're going to show you where the concept of Jesus means justice, but they don't practice it. They use it to disarm you intellectually, spiritually, mentally. You see? Like Botham Jean's brothers was hugging Amber Geiger. We're going to get into all of that. This is Black Light. Stay tuned.